The next thing we'll take a look at is how we maintain our open guard against an opponent who's trying to pass. In my opinion, this is actually the most important part of this week's lesson because playing open guard well is really just knowing the little adjustments that you need to make to keep your partner in your guard. If you don't keep your partner in your guard, you can't attack. So really everything depends on having a good ability to break your partner's grips and keep him from making strong passing grips so that you have time to set up your sweeps and attacks. The main things that we're concerned with in this position are my partner's position in front of me and his grips, okay? In particular, I'm worried that he's going to make grips that negate the position of my feet, okay? If I'm playing this well, can you take either of my hands off either your collar or your sleeve right now? No. So I should be taken care of, like these grips should be well defended. So really the weak point that my partner is going to look to attack is either this or this, okay? But first, let's talk about one kind of basic but important consideration, and that's just that if my partner moves from side to side, I'm just going to follow him. So if he goes, look, I'm going to use my feet to pick myself up and reset in front of my partner, okay? And so I kind of want to always maintain this angle where I'm slightly canted on one hip, so like my right hip in this position is off the ground. The reason this is important is that preserves the mobility of this leg. Okay, so if I go to my other hip and Conan weaves his arm in on this side, okay, it's actually much more difficult for me to get this leg back on his bicep. Whereas if I'm on my left hip, when Conan goes to weave inside, even if he gets inside position, it's really easy for me to retract the leg, circle back to the inside. Okay, so I always want to maintain myself just slightly on my side. Additionally, I'm going to make sure my partner is in front of me, and that his distance isn't like too close or too far. Okay, if he starts to push in, I can always check with my feet. If he starts to scoot away, I can actually use my collar grips to do like a forward strength, and my feet also will bridge off my partner. I pick my hips up and move in and out. Okay, so always keeping my partner in front of me, always staying a little bit on my side. Assuming I'm doing that well, then the next thing I'm concerned about is either losing my foot on the bicep or losing my foot on the hip, okay? So if my partner goes to weave inside my leg, then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, and so what he'll be usually trying to do is, get that kind of grip on the inside of my knee so he can disconnect my leg from him and start to pass. So as soon as he circles inside, I retract my knee to my chest and do kind of like a egg beatering motion to return my foot to his elbow, and then I push his leg away again, okay? So he'll just circle, and as you get good at this, you'll kind of like do it as your partner's doing it. So I will always try to keep him out of that space, so if he goes to circle, I'll close my foot against his body and hopefully just deny him the ability to come inside. But if he beats me, that's no big deal. I just circle and reset my foot to his bicep. Okay? Now on the other side, I would really like to maintain my foot on my partner's hip. It's best if I keep my foot on my partner's hip. But my partner knows this, and so he'll often go to either hold my knee, and then he can start to force my leg down or something. So as soon as my partner grips my knee, I get my foot out. Okay, I always take my foot to the outside, and I'm going to kick and pull on the sleeve grip. Okay? And that allows me to reconnect to the knee. Okay? I don't want to put my foot inside, so if I do this to the inside, well, I've just stuck myself in the half guard. My partner's just going to drop to his knees, and now I don't have open guard at all. I'm starting to get my guard passed. So, okay, so I'm going to take my foot to the outside, kick and pull, okay? If your partner is really ahead of the game, sometimes when you do that, I kick and pull, he may step in, right, and start to crowd me with his right leg. Okay, and if that's the case, look, I'm just going to kind of kick, get off to the side, and put in a De La Riva hook, okay? And we'll talk more about the De La Riva in the advanced class. Okay, but this is a viable defense if my partner is trying to crowd me with this leg. Okay, that's a good thing for him to do, and it'll be common. And so when that happens, especially if I can't get my foot back on the hip, if Conan's like using his knee to defend against that, I'll turn and put in a De La Riva hook. I'm going to come a little bit off to the side to do that. Okay.